I should have sensed something was off when Marta insisted we celebrate our engagement at La Serenata, a restaurant far fancier than anything in my world. She kept repeating how special the night would be, almost like she was trying to convince herself more than me. I'm 62, a line cook at a small café. Nothing special, nothing glamorous, but the work feels real and honest. Marta lived differently. She sold luxury properties and floated through expensive rooms like she'd been born in them. When she proposed to me 6 months earlier, I thought maybe she saw something in me I didn't. La Serenata was intimidating the second we walked in. The staff moved like dancers, and the prices on the menu made me sweat. I wore my old suit, the only one I owned, and instantly felt invisible compared to the polished people around us. Marta looked flawless, pearls, elegant dress, the kind of confidence money teaches you. She ordered wine I couldn't pronounce and smiled as if everything was perfect. For a moment, I believed the illusion, believed I belonged there. She reached for my hand. You seem nervous. I admitted I wasn't used to dining rooms with chandeliers, bigger than my first apartment. Dessert came, and then her phone buzzed. One glance at the screen, and something in her face cracked. "I'll be right back," she said, taking her purse. I waited, then waited longer. 10 minutes slipped by, then 15. A server approached with the bill. I opened it and felt my chest tighten. Nearly $400. My bank account wouldn't cover even a quarter of it. I asked a waiter to check the restroom. He returned, looking uneasy. "Sir." She left through the back exit. A message from Marta buzzed in. A cold goodbye telling me she needed someone who could provide, not a man living paycheck to paycheck. She told me not to contact her, that the ring she gave me meant nothing. I sat at the table, surrounded by laughter and clinking glasses, feeling like I'd been left in the middle of a stage with the lights flipped on. A server hovered. "Will you be settling the bill?" I explained quietly. Honesty tasted bitter. He left and came back with a man who carried himself differently, calm, confident, older. He introduced himself as Giovanni Rossi, the owner. He listened without interrupting, studying my face like he was reading a recipe. "You handled this with dignity," he said. "Not many people would." Then he surprised me. "I need a chef tonight. Mine fell ill. And something tells me you can cook." I laughed at first. He didn't. He needed someone to prepare a traditional meal for high-profile investors arriving in less than an hour. He told me he'd watched me admiring the dishes, noticing details only cooks cared about. Then he made a wild offer: pretend to be a visiting consultant chef and prepare the dinner. If I succeeded, he'd pay me $10,000 and cover the abandoned bill. If I failed, I owed nothing. My life was already falling apart. What else could I lose? I accepted. He led me into the kitchen, a whirlwind of steel, heat, and focused chaos. A woman approached Talissa, his daughter, sharp-eyed and skeptical. "Papa, who is this?" Giovanni introduced me as the chef for the evening. She stared like he'd lost his mind, but she obeyed. "Fine," she said. "What are you making?" Instinct answered before fear could braxolate, with polenta and seasonal vegetables. Eliza studied me, then nodded. "At least it's real food." The kitchen shifted instantly. Vegetables were washed, meat sliced thin, pans heated. I moved with them, muscle memory guiding me. Cooking steadied my hands. Elisa watched every movement. Gradually, her suspicion softened. "You learned from someone who loved food," she said softly. I told her about my grandmother, Rosa. For a moment she looked strangely moved, then handed me herbs. "Finish it strong." Giovanni returned with a jacket and tie. "You must look the part." The suit fit perfectly, making me look like someone I wasn't sure I recognized. I plated the dishes carefully and carried them out with Giovanni beside me. The investors examined the plates with serious eyes. The eldest took a bite, paused, and closed his eyes. "This tastes like home." Relief washed over me so fast I nearly stumbled. Dinner flowed into warm conversation about ingredients, tradition, technique. When it ended, the lead investor gripped my shoulder. "You must visit Milan someday." Back in the kitchen, applause broke out. Even Eliza clapped with a real smile. Giovanni handed me an envelope, payment, and an offer to stay on as consultant. Before I could respond, Eliza said, "There's a woman outside asking for you." My stomach dropped. "Marta," she stormed in, fury on her face, then froze when she saw me in chef whites and a tailored jacket. "What is this? Some ridiculous fantasy?" Giovanni stepped forward. "Signora, show respect. This man earned his place here," she scoffed. "He couldn't even pay for dinner." Eliza snapped. "He saved a multi-million-dollar deal tonight. You left him with a bill." Marta's voice faltered. "The ring, tell them it was fake." "It wasn't," I said gently. "My grandmother's ring. Worth far more than you assumed." Her expression collapsed. She pulled it off and threw it toward me. "Fine, keep it." Security guided her out as she muttered insults that didn't land anymore. Giovanni placed a steady hand on my back. "Family is who stands with you, not who abandons you." Eliza added, "Welcome to the Rossi kitchen." Weeks flew by. I developed dishes, taught young cooks, found a purpose I didn't know I'd lost. I sent money to my daughter. She asked if I was okay. I told her I finally was. Months later, Giovanni called me to his office. Elisa and a lawyer were waiting. "We want you as a partner," he said. 20%, creative control. I stared, overwhelmed. Giovanni just smiled. "You earned this." I signed, hands trembling. At 62, my life restarted. The next morning, I visited my old café. Dorothy, my former boss, nearly cried when she saw me. I offered to buy the place. She hesitated, then agreed under one condition: keep the name. 6 months later, Dorothy's table opened. Same heart, new soul. People lined up outside, finding comfort in every dish. Some cried, tasting flavors that reminded them of childhood. Reviews called it a miracle in a modest corner of the city. Giovanni and Eliza attended the opening. Giovanni hugged me. "You built something only you could build." My daughter came with her kids. They ran around the booths laughing. A year after Marta abandoned me at La Serenata, Giovanni held a private celebration. Investors flew in. Friends gathered. Even Dorothy arrived, glowing with pride. Giovanni raised a glass. "A year ago, a man walked into my restaurant broken. He smiled toward me. Tonight, he stands as chef, partner, and family." Everyone lifted their glass in my direction. Warmth spread through my chest. I thought of Rosa, her recipes, her quiet strength. I thought of Marta too, but without bitterness or anger. Just understanding. My daughter handed me the ring later. "Keep it close," she said. I wore it on a chain around my neck. It felt like the right place for it. Elisa handed me dessert and said, "You changed more lives than you realize." Giovanni added, "The best chefs come from humble kitchens. You proved that." The room filled with laughter and stories. It felt like home. I stepped outside afterwards, breathing in the night air. The world didn't feel heavy anymore. I wasn't the abandoned man at a fancy table. I wasn't the line cook scraping by. I was a chef, a partner, a mentor, a father, a friend, a man who rebuilt his life through kindness, courage, and a little bit of salt and fire. And for the first time in a long, long while, I felt exactly where I belong.